The marketplace on Station Zenith hummed with the chatter of 1,000 species, each conducting business under the artificial suns that bathed the trading hub in warm light. Frozen walked through the crowd with practiced ease, her earthborn frame moving with a grace that belied the heavy gravity she'd grown up in. To the delicate Valorians and the fragile Kessites around her, she appeared unremarkable, just another human wandering the Outer Rim stations. She was anything but ordinary. Finch watched her from across the plaza, his keen eyes tracking her movements through the throng. He'd been stationed on Zenith for 3 cycles now, working as a security consultant, and he'd learned to read people. This woman moved differently. While others shuffled and hesitated, she flowed like water through stone, her awareness extending in all directions without seeming to look anywhere in particular. Target acquired. Her voice crackled through the underground channels. The Carveth Syndicate had been watching Frozen since she'd arrived on the station 2 days ago. She carried something valuable, a data chip containing coordinates to an abandoned Earth military cache. The Carveths wanted it, and they didn't care how they got it. Frozen sensed them before she saw them. 4 Carveth thugs, each standing nearly 7 feet tall by their species standards, were moving to intercept her. On their homeworld, they were apex predators. Here on Zenith, they were criminals who preyed on the weak. They had made a fatal miscalculation. The first one stepped into her path, his translator device rendering his threats into galactic standard. Human, you will come with us. Resist and we will break every bone in your fragile body. Frozen stopped, tilting her head slightly. Fragile. A small smile played at her lips. You really should do your research before choosing targets. The Carveth reached for her with a clawed hand that could crush Duraplasm. Frozen moved Dart to Finch, watching from his vantage point. It looked like reality stuttered. One moment the Carveth was reaching forward, the next, he was airborne, his body spinning through the low gravity of the station before crashing into a vendor's stall 20 feet away. The crack of breaking bone echoed across the marketplace. The other 3 Carveths hesitated for precisely 1 second. It was 1 second too long. Frozen stepped forward into their midst. Her movements were economical, efficient, and absolutely devastating. She caught the second attacker's arm as he swung at her, using his own momentum to dislocate his shoulder before driving her knee into his center mass with enough force to fold him in half. The third tried to grab her from behind. She dropped her weight, slipped through his grip as if greased, and swept his legs. As he fell, her elbow met his face with surgical precision. The 4th Carveth, finally understanding the magnitude of their error, turned to flee. Frozen let him take 2 steps before hurling a credit chip that struck him behind the knee with enough force to drop him, howling, to the ground. The entire encounter had taken less than 15 seconds. Finch descended from his observation point, his hand resting casually on the plasma pistol at his hip, though he clearly wouldn't need it. The crowd had backed away, creating a circle around Frozen and her fallen attackers. Species from across the galaxy stared in shocked silence at the human woman who stood calmly among 4 of Zenith's most feared enforcers. Impressive, Finch said as he approached, showing his security credentials to the gathering station patrol, though you just made yourself very popular with every criminal organization on this station. Frozen turned to face him, and Finch found himself looking into eyes that had seen things most station dwellers couldn't imagine. They were hard eyes, survivor's eyes, but not unkind. Let me guess, she said. Security consultant, former military, Earth Defense Force, if I'm reading those scars right. Observant, Finch gestured to the groaning. These for work for the Syndicate. They'll send more, they always do. Frozen checked her chrono. I have a transport leaving in 3 hours. Just need to survive until then. The data chip, Finch said. It wasn't a question, that's what they're after. Frozen's eyes narrowed, but Finch raised his hands peacefully. I'm not interested in stealing it, but I am interested in why a human would be carrying coordinates to an Earth cache this far out in the rim. She studied him for a long moment, then seemed to come to a decision. Because someone needs to remember where we came from, what we survived. She gestured to the aliens around them, now whispering in their various languages about the violent human. They call Earth a death. Do you know what that means to them? I've heard the stories, Finch replied. Gravity 2.5 times standard. Atmosphere rich enough in oxygen to be considered poisonous by half the species in the galaxy. Weather systems that can level cities. Predators at every level of the food chain. Diseases that mutate faster than they can be cured. And we thrived there. Frozen, finished. We didn't just survive, we conquered it. Reached for the stars. She looked at the fallen. These thugs hunt on a low-gravity station where the toughest threat is an angry Veltorian shopkeeper. They have no concept of what it means to be forged in Earth's crucible. Finch found himself nodding. He'd been off-world long enough to forget sometimes what separated humans from most other species. It wasn't superior technology or intelligence. It was simply that they came from a world that tried to kill them every single day, and they'd refused to die. 3 hours, he said finally. I'll help you get to your transport. Frozen smiled, a genuine smile this time. I appreciate it, but I can handle myself. I know, Finch replied, glancing at the Carvaths being loaded onto medical stretchers. But every Deathworlder deserves backup. Besides, I'm curious about those coordinates. As station security finished their reports and the crowd slowly dispersed. Behind them, the word spread through Zenith's underground networks. The human was untouchable. She was from Eartha Deathworld, and she carried its legacy in her bones. They would remember to choose their targets more carefully next time. If there was a next time,